Hello everyone. Let us discuss section 6 of unit 1 of financial accounting 3. In this session we can discuss the important journal entries that appear in the books of accounts of partnership firm at the time of admission. Now we can classify the journal entries into different categories. The first set of journal entries that you can find is relating to or are relating to the revaluation account. When we are discussing the important stages in the accounting treatment of admission of a partner, we have understood that a revaluation account is one of the important account that we need to prepare. In that revaluation account, we bring the value of assets and liabilities to the true value. So when you are preparing a revaluation account, we can begin with the books of the primary entry, that is the journal, and what are all the entries that are being passed in the revaluation account and what are the entries that are being passed in the books of the primary entry relating to the entries to be made in the revaluation account will be discussed now in this session. So let us begin with the first set of entries for revaluation of assets and liabilities. Now first of all, let us begin with recording increase in the value of assets. When there is increase in the value of assets, that increase in the value of assets should be recorded in the revaluation account. So here in the revaluation account, that particular concerned asset should be recorded. As you know, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Here in the case of any increase in the value of asset, we can take it as the item to be debited. So concerned asset account is debited and the revaluation account is credited. Here to understand, the concerned asset is debited because debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So here we are going to increase the value of asset. So that particular concerned asset will be debited and the revaluation account will be credited. Then when there is decrease in the value of asset or when there is any depreciation, the transaction will be recorded like concerned asset account is credited. That means to concerned asset account, revaluation account is debited. Here one point is very clear here. Revaluation account is having two sides, the debit side and the credit side. If we write any increase in the value of asset in the debit side, any decrease in the value of asset will be recorded in the credit side. So it is very simple point you have to keep in mind. So when there is increase in the value of asset, the concerned asset will be taken as the debit account because debit what comes in, you can take it as a real account rule. Debit what comes in, so asset is coming into the revaluation account, so we can take it as the debit item. And when there is decrease in the value of asset, we can take it as the credit item. Now in the revaluation account, if the value of any liability increases, here one simple logic you have to keep in mind. The rule which is applicable to asset, if it is debit, then for the liability it will be credit. In the sense, for every asset, whatever the effect you give in the revaluation account, the opposite effect you give in respect of liabilities. Here when there is increase in liability, because liability is always a loss, so when there is increase in liability, we can take it as minus in asset. You can treat like any minus value in the asset. So what happens is revaluation account will be debited and the concerned liability account will be credited. Here the concerned liability account is credited for any increase in the value of liability. For example, here if there is any unpaid expense, for example, if the rent is not paid or electricity bill is not paid or any expense is not paid, for example, outstanding salary is there or outstanding stationery is there, all these things will be taken as the increase in the value of liability. Then if there is any decrease in the value of liability, here decrease in the value of liability can be taken as an asset. So what happens is the concerned liability account debit to revaluation account. So it will be taken like recording an asset. As such, it will come to the debit side of the revaluation account. So concerned liability account debtor to revaluation account. Now another type of transaction that may appear in the revaluation account is unrecorded asset or unrecorded liability. Now we can say unrecorded asset if the asset is not recorded and it is being brought to an account at the time of admission of a partner. Now we record the transaction like concerned asset account debtor to revaluation account. Here we are going to record the transaction like concerned asset account debtor. Your asset was what comes in, so we can take it like concerned asset account debtor to revaluation account. Now you may get an idea that what type of entry we may pass in case of unrecorded liability. Quite opposite entry. Here you can say revaluation account debtor to unrecorded liability account. And if there is any provision made against any asset, for example, in case of any RBD or such type of provisions, the entry will be revaluation account debtor to concerned provision against asset account. You have to understand, it can be taken like liability only, it can be taken as increase in liability only. So revaluation account debtor to concerned provision account against asset account. And once you prepare the revaluation account, at the end, or we can say when you are closing the revaluation account, there may be either profit or loss. Here there may be either profit in revaluation account or loss in revaluation account. When there is profit in revaluation account, that revaluation profit will be transferred to the old partner's capital account, and even when there is loss in the revaluation account, it will be transferred to old partner's capital account. But here in the case of profit, the entry may be revaluation account debit to old partner's capital account. In the sense, old partners will be taken as the givers of the benefit, that will be credited to their capital account. And in case of loss, the old partners can be taken as the receivers of benefit. So old partners capital account debtor to revaluation account. These are the entries that it will appear in the revaluation account in respect of transactions relating to revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. Now, the second set of entries that may appear in the books of accounts of partnership firm at the time of admission will be distribution of general reserve or any other undistributed reserve or undistributed profit or loss balance as shown in the balance sheet prior to admission. Here you have to understand, at the time of admission, we need to cancel some of the transactions. For example, if there is any undistributed reserve in the old balance sheet, partners will not carry forward that reserve to the next balance sheet, because whatever may be the reserve, that should belong only to the old partners. It cannot be shared with the new partner, because for example, on 1st January 2020, a new partner is admitted. On 31st 12/2019, a reserve of 1 lakh is being there in the balance sheet. Here that 1 lakh, in that only old partners can share, a new partner cannot be given any share. So they will not carry forward that reserve to the new balance sheet or the revised balance sheet. So what they do is, they are going to distribute it by using their capital account. Here undistributed reserve, or we can say any type of reserve or any type of surplus or any type of deficit in the balance sheet. For example, undistributed profit and loss account or undistributed loss in the old balance sheet, or we can say any general reserve which is being undistributed in the old balance sheet, that will be distributed by using the partner's capital account. So let us discuss the entries one by one. To transfer the general reserve, when there is general reserve and when we want to transfer it to the partner's capital account, we are going to use the journal entry, general reserve or other accumulated reserve account debtor to old partner's capital account. Here old partner's capital account is credited because they are the givers of the benefit. We can assume that the general reserve is actually something given by the old partner. So we have to credit the old partner's capital account. At the same time, if there is any undistributed profit, we have to assume that it is also being given by the old partner. So in the old profit sharing ratio only, it should be divided profit and loss account debtor to old partner's capital account. But if there is any loss, profit and loss account debit balance, if there is any loss that appears in the balance sheet, last year's balance sheet, that should be distributed again through the partner's capital account. But at that time, old partner's capital account will be debited. In the sense, they are taken as the receivers of benefit. There will be a debit balance for them and to profit and loss account. This is how you have to pass the entries for distribution of general reserve and distribution of accumulated profit or losses. Now, the third set of entries will be for contribution of capital by the new partner. Here when the new partner comes into the partnership firm, he will bring some capital, and whatever capital he brings, that should be recorded for or that should be accounted for. Let's assume he brings capital in the form of cash. When the partner brings capital in the form of cash, the entry will be cash account debtor. In the sense, cash comes in to new partner's capital account. It should be credited only to the new partner, because capital is something that will be brought in his own name and that will be carried forward to the revised balance sheet. So the entry will be cash account debtor. In the sense, cash comes in to new partner's capital account. And there is a possibility that he may bring capital in the form of cash and assets. There is no rule like, all the capital should be brought in the form of cash. He may bring a cash and building, he may bring cash and machinery, he may bring cash and vehicle. At that time, we can give debit to both the cash as well as the incoming asset. Here, cash account debtor, concerned asset account debtor to new partner's capital account. And there is a possibility that sometimes he can bring the liability also. He may bring the liability also. He may bring cash, he may bring assets. At the same time, he may bring the liabilities. For example, there may be some merger of business. He may merge his old business with the partnership firm. At that time, he may bring both cash, assets and liabilities. So what we can do is, we can give debit to the assets. He brings cash and asset. And we can give credit to the liability. That means we can credit that liability item. So the entry will be cash account debtor, concerned asset account debtor, then to concerned liability account. Here, he is the person who is going to get the debit value for that to new partner's capital account. So this is how you have to pass the entries for the capital that is being contributed by the new partner. Now here I am going to end the discussion on entries for or journal entries for admission of a partner. I think all these entries are needed for you while you are preparing the ledger account, because ledger account is actually the secondary account in which you are going to post the transaction that you already entered in the day book or journal. So if you know clearly the journal entries, then it will be very easier for you to prepare the ledger accounts. Here I will end the discussion. Thank you.